Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show. And every Friday, we focus in on what I call the Fitness Friday segment. Because the idea is that if you aren't fit, both mentally and physically, then you can't really enjoy the money that you earn. And it's better to start as early as possible. So this week, we're going to focus on the well-being of the very young. Children below the age of 15 have been locked up at home for quite a while now. They haven't had the social interactions that we were used to growing up, or in fact, they were used to even a few years back. So how do you take care of all of the needs that they have, both in terms of nutrition as well as their mental well-being? Here's a conversation I had with holistic wellness coach Luke Coutinho. Listen in.
And it's important that we nourish our children in all ways, besides just education, for them to grow up into healthy individuals. So when it comes to nutrition, my advice, everyone's different. While there may be some children who have ailments and certain conditions and you got to eat specifically for that, for everyone in general, my first nutrition tip for children would be make your plate look like a rainbow. The more color you can add in by adding fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, the healthier you are, because you're getting nutrients from different kinds of foods, fruits and vegetables. And you need a rainbow plate because that's what builds a healthy microbiome. And that in turn builds your immune system, it keeps inflammation low, and everything else that the great healthy body requires. The second tip for children's nutrition is, I'm not here to tell you should stop sugar and desserts completely. Okay, that's extreme, but you must minimize it. So if you have 6 good days of eating, your parents can treat you to a little reward over the weekend. There must be a balance, but it shouldn't be that most of your food is from junk food and very little is from all the natural foods or the foods that nature gives us. Now, coming to exercise, I don't want to have to use the word exercise because a lot of children and even adults see it negatively. They think they have to do work. So I'm going to say movement. Okay, play a game. What's your favorite sport? If you don't like playing, do you like dancing? You can put on a video and dance for 30 minutes. That's also exercise. The idea is movement. You're playing video games, you're doing online schooling, you're sitting for a long time, and that's the problem. So the more you sit, the more you have to move. So little movements, try yoga, because as a child, you're very, very flexible. So in fact, you'll be able to do a lot more asanas than your parents can do because you have flexibility in you. So a little bit of yoga, a little bit of deep breathing. The idea is movement. What do you like that's fun? Do that, whatever involves movement. So that's very important from a fitness angle. Nutrition, let me touch about sleep. Very important. You grow while you sleep. All the magic happens while you sleep. So make it a point to make sure that you have at least 7 to 8 hours of good sleep every night. Very important for your energy levels, very important for your focus in school as well. And when it comes to emotional wellness, be happy. Do things you like doing. Okay, do not focus on the things that are not going well in your life. Do not focus on sadness. It's okay, it's a human emotion, but also focus on the things that make you feel good. So the happier you are, the physical body works better.
Absolutely, and you've hit upon, I think, all of your pillars of wellness. But I want to speak about the current context specifically, Luke, which is, with Omicron looming and a lot of people saying it feels like we're back in 2020, the likelihood of us being locked up once again, or at least having to keep those restrictions in place. For children specifically, this is coming as a bit of bad news because this means that they have to once again be very, very mindful about their ability to resist these diseases. What would you do in terms of that specific need to build up your resistance nutritively?
Again, it's a rainbow plate. It's exercise that keeps the immune system smart and well trained. Sleep is the most important thing. I would like all children and parents to understand that you can have the best diet, you can be exercising, but if you are sleep deprived, your immune system literally crashes and operates at a very, very low level. So your sleep is extremely, extremely important. And also don't be so fearful, because when we get our sources of information right now, yes, there's a scare, yes, there's fear, but we also know that this is a milder version. And there is also good news coming out that this doesn't have to be as bad as it was before. So while fear can inspire us to take care of ourselves, boost our immune systems, be active, do everything for a healthy body, because our immune system is the first and last line of defense against viruses, bacteria, pathogens, and germs. We must also know that things can also change for the better. And we may not just go into a lockdown, and it may not just be as bad as it is, but it doesn't stop us from preparing. So we focus on our movement, our nutrition, our good sleep, and on being happy, focusing on things that are going well for us.
Absolutely. Speaking of sleep, an increasing trend, and you have a young one of your own, so perhaps you can also weigh in on that, which is that we're seeing a lot of usage of devices, right? So screen time is increasing in a big way. Is that something that affects quality of sleep, the length of sleep? And would you suggest, therefore, to put boundaries that parents restrict that screen time?
Absolutely. We all know today that certain lights that a gadget emits, like at night, once the sun sets, we produce melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that prepares the body for sleep. It puts us into deep sleep. But what disrupts melatonin? The light from a gadget, blue light from your phone, from your TV screen. So yes, the usage of gadgets have gone up. That's not the problem. But we have to draw boundaries, like you rightly said. Consume content, but you should have a cutoff time. You should be aware of how much time is your time on, gadgets increasing day by day. Then you got to be more aware of it. And parents have to mindfully work with their children to draw boundaries. So for example, I like leading by example. So my daughter, she has a cutoff at 7:30, no more gadgets. She's in bed at 8:30, for example. So during the day, she has planned times to use the gadgets because you've got to balance it with online schooling, screen time as well. But when you involve children in decisions, it's difficult sometimes, but it's not impossible. So the problem is not really the gadget. The problem is how much we're using it. So we have to draw boundaries, like you rightly said, because it is affecting the quality of sleep, the depth of sleep, and the difficulty in falling asleep as well.
I'm asking you this question because you focus on holistic development, and you also said that doing the things that you love doing is very important. One of the things that a lot of children have faced a lack of is social interaction. They haven't been able to spend as much time with their friends as they once would have managed to do. Is there any way to get around that? How do you improve that aspect of life heading into 2022?
Absolutely, that has affected a lot of children and parents as well. The lack of social interaction, because we are, as human beings, are social beings. We are meant to interact, play with children, and vice versa. So now hopefully we don't go into another lockdown, and while we take our vaccinations, we're safe, we can start mingling again. But if in case we cannot, it's very important that parents maintain some amount of screen time with their friends. So there are a lot of these Zoom parties, Zoom interactions that are happening with children. So at least you're in touch, maybe not physically, but at least emotionally you can connect. Your friends are somewhere. So we give our daughter a little bit of time to connect with her friends on a weekly basis so they know what they're doing. They even talk on the phone. They also talk on the phone as well. So there are ways around it. The ideal situation would be that we go back to normal and everyone can play. But right now we've got to make the most out of what we have. So parents must encourage that, because a lot of children have actually stopped keeping in touch with children. They've gotten so used to just grown-ups being around them. And parents have to be mindful of that and slowly have them talk to friends, speak to friends on video as well as audio.
All right, so that was a conversation that I had with Luke a short while back, where he's giving you tips and tricks to help your child develop better. And I think what he said with respect to screen time is something that all of us can employ.